I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I.
So we got to talk about this. We have to talk about how insane these pastors are becoming with their demands for offering, their tithes and offering, while also using the Bible to justify their demands and their requests. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but a discussion needs to be had, and I'm here for it. But first, hit my intro.
A lot of you don't know what it's like to be me. You don't know what it's like to walk a mile in my shoes. You don't know or have a clue what it's like to live in my world. Well, guess what? I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna give you what you asked for. But just be careful, because I'm not responsible for what you're about to see.
Okay. So I'll catch everyone up to speed as best I can with the information that I currently am aware of. Marvin Winans, I was about to call him Marvin Sapp, but Marvin Sapp is going to be included in this as well, so par for the course. Marvin Winans was holding some sort of church event where the premise of this event was for people that were able to give to be able to give to the church for the building of the kingdom, as they say. And a woman stepped up to the altar where he was standing and decided that she was going to give $1,200, $1,250 some odd dollars. And in doing this, she basically was following the instructions that she knew them that the pastor gave to the congregation. Well, in doing so, apparently there was some sort of miscommunication between her and the church or the pastor. And the pastor proceeded to kind of talk down on her giving, because she clearly stated in the video that she was giving $1,000 plus 200 and some odd dollars, right? To which Marvin Winans decided, oh, this is not what I asked for. And y'all saw the video. And she basically said, well, I'm going to do what I can to come up with the rest of it. And he says to her, that's not what I asked you to do. Now, for context, and I'm going to be fair about this, as fair as I possibly can. Apparently, there is a video where someone put on TikTok where he clarified, well, this person clarified in the video through text that there's more to the video, where Marvin Winans basically said that, I mean, it's a little confusing based on what he said, but essentially he said, you know what, I'll just go ahead and post the video.
Listen to me. We gonna get down, if you didn't give but $4.25, we gonna get to you today. Touch a neighbor and say, this is the day of giving. I'm trying to do it orderly. So if you're in the line and your total doesn't equal 2,000, you can just slip out while ain't nobody looking right now.
Okay. So as you see, Marvin Winans said, I mean, me personally, I would have took offense to the whole thing of, oh, we gonna get to you today. That starts this whole thing off with a little bit of a admonishment for those that don't have $2,000. Oh yeah, you can go, you can step out the line. We'll get to you when we get to you. But the problem, I have actually a few problems with this situation. So let's start here. Let's start with the fact that Marvin Winans had this woman in the line. And I can understand the miscommunication because apparently from what I gather, she was not supposed to be in the line for the people that were donating $2,000. And he expected her to have $2,000 when she got to him. First off, let's go to the aspect of the actual service itself and the fact that it was recorded. Why would you, as a pastor, decide to have a service where multiple people are coming up to you in a line on camera, giving essentially what some people would consider rent money or mortgages? That's a mortgage payment. That's a month's rent for some people. And you have these people essentially going up here and telling the entire world that they have $1,200, $2,000. I saw one video where a woman gave like 50 grand to his church. Why would you have these people doing this on camera and recording it? Doesn't the word of God say, if I'm not mistaken, that if you give to the Lord in secret, or you do for the Lord in secret, he will bless you. He will bless you openly. So I'm trying to understand, why not take that context and make it to where these people can donate to your church in private, and he will bless them openly. Clearly, he's blessed some of these people openly to be able to just walk around with 50 grand to give to their church. But me personally, I would feel extremely uncomfortable knowing that this service is going out to the world and then being asked to stand in a line and give money to my church. I would feel highly unsafe doing that, because you have some really sick people out here that are looking for nothing more than to take advantage of, to steal, to hurt, and to basically do all manner of things to people who have money. As you know, we live in a wicked time now. So I personally feel as though, from a safety perspective, that this was totally out of order. I feel as though this was unnecessary. Let's not, I'm not talking about the fact that she later did an interview saying that he didn't rebuke her, but that's for interpretation. But the fact that from a safety perspective, I would have felt extremely uncomfortable standing up there and telling the world that I have $2,000 to give to this man. And if I were the pastor, I would be unbelievably uncomfortable knowing that it's being recorded and broadcast to the world that these people are giving me all of this money. Well, I'm sorry, giving the church, and I'm using air quotes, giving the church $2,000 in broad daylight, $50,000 in broad daylight, $100,000 in broad daylight. I would feel mortified knowing that I'm recording these people giving this type of money. First of all, to me, in my eyes, that's just you showing off. That has nothing to do with ministry. That's you showing off and showing, yeah, my members are giving $50, $70, $80, $90,000. What about your church? My members got the money to give to my church so that I could build my ministry and my kingdom. That to me ain't nothing but you showboating and trying to prove to the world that your church got it like that your church is popping. Oh, come to my church. You'll receive a blessing from the Lord if you give me your money. To me, that right there is just unacceptable to me. And you could say I'm wrong. You could say that, oh, you don't understand what it's like to do this, that, and the third. Pause. First of all, I've been involved in ministry. I've been involved in ministries where money is a necessity to run the ministry. I'm not naive enough to believe that you can't run a ministry that you can run a ministry on faith. I'm not naive enough to believe that ministry only runs on belief. You need money. You need money to produce the things that you need, to purchase things, to build. The purpose of that is to build the kingdom. You cannot run a church on faith. There. Let's just get that out the way. This is not a total rebuke of Marvin Winans, because I'm in no position to rebuke anyone. My name is not Jesus Christ. I'm not God. I'm not here to rebuke or disrespect anyone in ministry. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get that understood. I am not here to condemn anyone or put anyone in hell. That's not my job. But I will say this. From the perspective of someone from the outside looking in, I find it extremely risky as a person that is a pastor to essentially put my members' financial information on blast. Number 2, I find it highly offensive and unbelievably out of order that this man essentially told this woman in front of the world that her money was not enough. Let's just back up a minute. So I understand that there is some context and it was some clarification that needed to be made. Regardless as to if there were any miscommunications made, either by this woman or by the ministry, by Marvin Winans. What he did when that woman got up there, even if it wasn't intentional on his part, even if it was a mistake on her end by not hearing or understanding which line she was supposed to be in. Let's go into the church a little bit. So let's say she was, she's following orders as a faithful tithe paying, offering paying member of the church, and she followed her understanding of what the instructions were and is a cheerful giver, as the word says, right? I would find it highly offensive that my pastor essentially said that what I gave him was not what he was looking for, even if the instructions were laid out and she made a mistake and got in the wrong line. First of all, you just told this woman in front of the entire world, even to those that aren't in the church, that what she gave isn't enough. There are several things that could have been done to rectify that situation. One, you could have had one of the ushers pull her to the side and say, excuse me, this is the line for people that are giving $2,000 or more. Step out of the line and we'll call you or let you know when your time or portion is ready for the pastor. This man basically told her that she didn't give what he asked for. And I can only imagine the embarrassment on her face, the embarrassment to her, the embarrassment to her child, because I'm pretty sure that young man is looking up at her like, hey, mom, yeah, we're going to do this. And I'm pretty sure she's taught him about the benefits and the vitality of giving to the church. I'm pretty sure he would rather have that money spent on, stuff that he wants, stuff that they want. But she's choosing to give that to the Lord. And essentially what he said without actually saying it was to her and her family and her son was, what you're giving isn't enough. Like I said, there were a few ways that could have been handled. You have ushers for a reason. You have ministers for a reason. You have deacons for a reason. You could have easily put the microphone down, even though the service in my opinion, should not have been recorded for offering. And I know churches that have a strict no recording policy when it comes to offering. They cut the cameras, they go to a visual of the church's website or things of that nature. This goes back to the safety thing. They don't record offerings for a reason, because of the possibility of something bad happening or people doing some misdeeds to the people that are giving, just simply for privacy reasons. Offerings do not get recorded. I know churches that have snapped on people and removed people from positions in recording ministries for recording during offering. I know pastors that have been told, pastors that have been suggested to their members, by their members, hey, I don't feel comfortable standing up here while it's offering time and having myself recorded giving. I know people that, because of that, don't do that, and they, send their money through the mail or wire it, or now you can use the different apps that the churches are utilizing to give. They're doing that as opposed to being shown on camera. But going back to the giving, you could have had one of the ministers come down. You could have put the microphone down and whispered to one of the ministers, hey, tell her she's in the wrong line, and have her step out for a minute. And we'll let her know. You have these people, you have armor bearers, you have deacons, deaconesses, evangelists, people that are in the ministry. Someone from the finance ministry could have pulled her to the side. You could have done that. You could have took a minute and stopped the service and said, okay, this is incorrect. This is not what we requested. We're going to have you come back up. Or you could have simply said, thank you. And you could have just taken the money and kept going. And you could have said, just so y'all know, this is the line. You could have reiterated that fact and said, this is the line for such and such. So if there's anyone that has less than this amount, you can step out or, just slide off and we'll get to you in a minute. There were ways you could have handled that, but he said what he said. And to the outsider looking in, to the outsider that's not in the church, it basically looks like you just said, you didn't give me enough, step out the line. Or you didn't give me enough, I don't need this. To other people on other platforms, that's what you said to her without actually saying it, but that's how they interpret it. Extremely out of order. Like I said, this is not me rebuking anyone because that's not my job. I'm just simply observing and notating what it looks like. It looks to the people, because if you go on these applications and you go on these platforms, that's what they're saying. I saw through the video, I understand what he was trying to do, because as he said, he's trying to do it in a certain order. Essentially what he was trying to do it from, if I'm understanding it correctly, was if you have 1,000 plus 1,000, I don't know why he didn't just say $2,000, but if you have 1,000 plus 1,000, this is where the line you need to be in. And then from what I'm assuming, he was doing it in descending order: 2,000, 1,500, 1,000, 500, 400, 300. That's kind of what it sounds like he was trying to do through the video when he said, and you have to listen to what he said, he's trying to do it in order. He's trying to do it orderly. So people aren't just coming up giving random amounts. I don't know. I wasn't there. But that's what it appeared to be when he did that. But like I said, that's the second thing. You could have gone about that a different way, as opposed to basically telling this woman, that's not what I asked you to do. That's not what I'm asking for. And then when she tried to correct it and say, not even correct it, But when she tried to clarify and say, okay, I'm going to come up with the rest of it, it sounds like she didn't really understand what she was supposed to do. And then basically said, okay, I'll try to come up with the rest of it. And then you further talk down to her by saying, that's not what I asked you to do. If I'm her, if I'm that woman, you know what I'm doing? Screw protocol. I'm snatching my damn money back and I'm walking out that church and never coming back again. I'm snatching that check out of his hand so fast. I'm telling him, I'll take my money and go buy my son a damn car. I'm not sitting here gonna get talked down to by you because I'm giving you what little money I got. I'm sowing a seed into your ministry and you gonna tell me it ain't enough? All right, bet. Give my money back. We out of here. That's what I would have said. That's what I know most people would have done. That is so disheartening as someone who's trying to follow the Lord and follow Christ and follow the ministry. For you to essentially tell them that is so disrespectful. I just thought that was just wrong. It was wrong. Bottom line, it was wrong. At the end of the day, what happened here was at least looked at very inappropriately. How he went about trying to correct. I understand that pastors have to often correct the behavior or the actions of those that are under them, because as it's been told, pastors have to be able to correct their members, and I understand that is vital in ministry. But the way he went about it was not appropriate in my opinion.
When I see videos like this is exactly the reason why, maybe not exactly, but one of the reasons why people stop going to church, because you don't know if they're actually there to hear the word or they're actually there to get scammed. Now, I've seen this video that's going viral that Bishop Marvin Winans was asking the church to donate for the renovation of their church. He was saying in instructions that if they're giving up $2,000, they're supposed to be in this line. Anything less than that is supposed to be in another line. Somehow he put it in deep detail. But anyway, long story short, one of the members by the name of Roberta McCoy, she stepped up and she told Bishop that she's giving $1,200. He immediately scolded her, saying that you did not listen what I was saying. When he said that, I'm like, wait a minute. Even if she did not give $2,000, $1,200 is still pretty good. And then she gonna turn around and say she's working on the other $800. He immediately dismissed her. And my thing about that is that when members actually put in their money inside of an envelope, why does it matter for them to announce how much they're giving to the church? Now, even though everything was blown out of proportion, there was a follow-up video that I just saw. They did a sit-down interview. Roberta McCoy did say that Bishop Wine did not scolded her. She did not feel like he disrespected her or whatever. I just believe she's just been brainwashed because she's been at that church for all these years. And of course, Bishop Wine has said himself that he had a set of instructions for the members to do, and he did apologize to her. But I'm just still not convinced that he actually did her like that. Even that was the case of her being in the wrong line, you still should went ahead and just accept the money. He did accept the $1,200, but he should never call her out on that. I just never knew going to a church where when a member is actually donating money or giving their tithes or whatever's going on in the church, they have to announce how much they're giving to the church. Isn't that like a privacy thing? That's why it's in the envelope and it's going to tell you. Now, I grew up in the church, so I noticed for sure they actually got the envelopes and you put how much is you're donating or you're giving to the church, and was it for tithes, building offering, or beloved offering or whatever. But I've never been to a church where you actually have to get the microphone and tell everybody how much you're donating. I don't agree with that. So when I saw him actually got the members doing that actually rubbed me the wrong way. Seeing videos like this is one of the reasons why a lot of people stop going to church, because you don't know these leaders of the church. They're supposed to be leaders when they're called to preach. You don't know if they actually are considered real leaders or they're actually up there being scammers, especially when it comes to everyone's money. You just never know. That may be their last. So, and then you also want to know why the church membership role has been declining. It's because of situations like this. So how do you guys feel about that? Because even though he supposedly apologized to Roberta McCoy, she said she did not feel no defense of that. Let me know in the comment section. Tell me how you feel about it.
The lady that Pastor Winans rebuked speaks out. Please watch this clip, and I want y'all to see how she defends this man. She is so manipulated by what's going on that she continues to take up and defend this man despite of being the victim. Please watch this and give your thoughts.
You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction on the lines to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
Roberta told me Pastor Winans personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since 2013.